Hey everybody, welcome to the Saturday stream. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Gonna be continuing work on our super cool Shazam model from Night Miniatures that we were working on last time. Did a lot of work on his red jumpsuit with our airbrush and got all those really nice highlights and shadows popped in there. Then we base coated a lot of our yellows, base coated our cape, got a wash on our yellows, so those are ready for highlights. So today we're gonna be working on getting our flesh tones on the face, doing some highlights on our cape, and doing some highlights on the yellows. That's what we're gonna be doing today. A little bit of a shorter stream today. We're gonna end an hour early just because it's Veterans Day today, and I've got some plans after the stream, so hope you guys won't hold it against me for wanting to go out. But tomorrow will be, full normal long stream, working on Shazam again if we don't get him finished. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I think we can go ahead and get started by working up some base coats on the flesh area and the hair. Love minis, what's up? And we have some other stuff. There's still some base color yellows that need to get blocked in that we didn't touch because we've got to do some other stuff. Like the trim on the cape is going to be the same color yellow as this other stuff, but since we got to we had to block that in and we're going to be highlighting it up and stuff, I figured it'd be easier to just do all of the kind of off-white parts before we did the yellow trim, so we don't have to worry about painting around all of that. And then he's got this little cord that goes around his neck with the cape that's also yellow, but I didn't do that because we need to paint in all this flesh, so it'll be easier to do that after we've painted the flesh up. Let's be working on that. So let's get to work on our flesh. Gonna be busting out our flesh tones from Army Painter. Getting our tanned flesh. Really nice base coat flesh. Got one of our brushes here. A little bit of water to thin this down. Start basing in our flesh tones. Remember, name of the game with this guy is super thin coats so that we don't end up losing any of this detail. So our flesh is probably going to take 2, maybe even 3 super thin coats with this tanned flesh to get based out, so we can put a wash on it. We want to make sure that our coats are nice and dry before we try to put another one on, which shouldn't take too long. When you're doing coats this thin, they really don't take too long to dry. Just keep working this around. You see that these coats are drying really fast, so you can just kind of just work your way around the model, applying a second coat after the first one's already dry. I think we've got just like a little bit of pooling underneath his chin there. I want to make sure that's nice and thin. We're not getting any paint pooling. Okay. Nice solid base coat going. Let that dry up a little bit. And we'll do like one final, like really thin layer just to kind of make sure everything's nice and smooth and there's no weak spots of paint. Add some more water to our paint just to keep it workable. I'll wait for that to dry real quick because the kind of sections up under here, it's taking a little bit longer to dry. So just gonna wait for that to dry up real quick. Getting super duper close to our 900 follower goal. I know this one is, I know the thing on screen is wrong because I checked it before the stream. So this thing down here, that's actually off because the dashboard before the stream said 897 instead of 891. So I'm actually just gonna go ahead and change that. Alright, there we go. Updated. So it reads right. We're only 3 follows away from 900 follower goal. And every time we hit a new follower goal, it's a big old giveaway for all the people who are followers. Big old raffle giveaway. Still a little wet. I just want to make sure it's fully dry so that if we try to put on another coat, it doesn't pick up any paint. So just let it dry a little bit longer. I've been working on our Deathwing Knights. So yesterday I did got our base coat for our green tabards on there. Got a black wash on there. Darken that green down a little bit. We'll start highlighting that up next time I work on them. Start blocking in all the other colors. They're coming right along. Little custom Deathwing Knights coming right together. I'm liking how they're looking. At bone armor is right where I kind of want it to be. It's looking really good. Base coat's looking much better. Exactly where we want it to be. Nice solid base coat. Cool. So that needs to dry up just a little bit before we put a wash on it. So the next thing is going to be, let's go ahead and block in his hair. Get some of our model color black out because Shazam has black hair. Rhyme, thank you. His hair especially touches on what I was talking about last time. That sculpt on this guy is amazing. It's beautiful, but a lot of the details are really shallow. And the hair is definitely one of those things where really nice kind of like combed back hair, but the detail is like super shallow. So just gotta like be really careful as we're coming in here and make sure that getting this base color black exactly where it needs to go. Some of that detail will come back, especially when put a wash on the face and it doesn't look so flat after the details have been popped out by a wash on the skin tone. sure it's symmetrical. Looks about right. A little bit more over on this side here. Just kind of like putting in little dash lines so that it looks a little bit more realistic as hair. Just give it a little bit over here. Make sure that's symmetrical too. A little bit lower on that side. There we go. Looking good. Back needs to get cleaned up a little bit. It's not symmetrical. There we go. There we go. Looking super boss. Spec Ops, what's up, man? It's got a little bit of a up close. It's got a little. It looks a little bit like. Oh, wrong camera. I'll let you focus this in for you guys. Got a little bit of that Dwayne Johnson look to him, almost. A little bit of The Rock. Especially from that angle. Just thought that was funny. Okay. Make sure that's fully dry, and we'll throw a wash on this. Get out our regular flesh shade. Yeah, I didn't realize. I think it's the hair. It was just like having that like jet black hair over like the tanned skin without like all of the details coming in there. Just like right now it looks a little flat, and so it's just kind of like it looks a little bit like him. Wasn't there talks going around that The Rock was going to be in a Shazam movie as either Shazam or Black Adam? 'Cause I'd be okay with that. You could definitely see if he wasn't bald. Like I don't know if Dwayne Johnson is actually like bald and he just shaves his head to hide it, or if he just like shaved his head. Because I know he used to have hair, and he could, if he had like black hair that was like combed back, you know, like Shazam has, I could see him being a good Shazam or Black Adam. Because they have that kind of. I know that Dwayne Johnson isn't Greek. He's Pacific Islander, but Black Adam and Shazam have that kind of swarthy Greco-Roman look to them, because he's supposed to have like the powers of the Greek pantheon. The Tick? Maybe. I'll always think of Patrick Warburton when I think of The Tick. I watched the first season of the reboot on Amazon, and I don't know. I don't know. Like, I haven't decided if I like where it's going or not. With the whole like, I don't know, just the direction they're taking with it. I don't know if I'm on board just yet. I'll have to see what the next installment holds. I mean, like it was. I mean, like it was good enough for me to like watch it all the way through, but having seen both other iterations of the Tick, the live action and the animated version of the Tick, I'm not sure I like where they're going with it with this version. So I'll see what they do in the second season. That should be dry enough. Sure, our brush has all the black paint out of it. Okay. Start putting the wash on the face. Make sure you pull some of that wash out of there. Okay. Some of those details popping out again. None of those people have shown up. The Amazon one, I think, is supposed to be kind of a reboot. I mean, it's still very much like a superhero satire kind of a thing. But the big bad in this one is called like the Master, and he's got this kind of like cross between Red Skull and Freddy Krueger thing going on, and I don't know, like you just have to watch it. Like it's different. Like I don't want to get too much into the details because it might like ruin actually watching the show. Alright, so let's switch to working on our cape a little bit. And for this, what I'm going to do is I thought I had some Dragonhoff Nightshade somewhere. I didn't know that that actor did one. Ched Fu. Is it about the show, or is it just kind of like a general discussion kind of a thing? Oh, might have to check that out. Kalini, what's up? Alright, so we're just taking some like Drakenhof Nightshade that I got out on the palette. I thinned it down with some water, so it's not going to be as dark. You can kind of see it's, unless you really let it pool up, it's not going to be super crazy dark. I'm just going to try to get a little bit over these areas. That's going to end up being our kind of off-white gray. Don't really need to go into all the trim detail and stuff because it's going to end up being painted yellow. But for all the folds in the cloth here, try to make sure that I'm just getting like a little bit of tint. I don't want it to pool up too much. You can also use like a really thinned out like Nuln Oil for this as well, if you want a more like harsh contrast between light and dark. The thinned out blue wash is just a little bit softer is all. Get kind of careful around the sash because I don't want the blue actually getting up into the yellow. Kind of get some in here. And so I was doing this, I realized we didn't paint any base flesh tone on the hands. So we'll have to do that real quick. Ah, okay, I got you. Yeah, it seems like an interesting podcast. that kind of setup. I don't necessarily have a favorite brand. I do paint a lot of Warhammer 40,000 stuff. Because 40K is like the largest tabletop game that I'm invested in. But I don't think they're like my favorite. I don't really have a favorite brand. Mostly science fiction type of miniatures, like tabletop war science fiction miniatures are usually like my favorite thing. Um, but if it's just like a cool model, like I enjoy painting it because like I paint just about everything. The only thing that I don't really paint as like a collection is fantasy stuff. Because like building up an army of like a fantasy faction and playing like a fantasy game has never really given me much drive. But when it comes to like hero models and stuff like that, if it's just like a really dope fantasy miniature, I'll definitely enjoy painting it. Um, but other than 40K, I also paint Infinity. I have a lot of Dark Age from Cool Mini or Not that I've painted up. Um, did some like I did some mecha stuff a couple months back when we did like a Mecha Madness event for the channel. Um, just I wanted to like the reason we're doing Shazam is because I hadn't painted a superhero model on stream before, and I kind of wanted to change of pace because I've been painting like a ton of 40K stuff with the advent of 8th edition coming out. So being able to paint something totally different is a nice change of pace. Ever painted for charity? Um, I haven't explicitly. Like I have painted some stuff that I have like sold to people, and then those people like put it up for charity auctions before. Uh, there was a army that was going to get painted by the Long War community pro painter referral system that's going on. We were all gonna paint like a single unit in a Death Death Guard Chaos Space Marine army for the Nova Open, and I guess like that was supposed to be kind of an olive branch between the Long War people and Nova, and I guess just like too much bad blood. Like Nova, the people at Nova couldn't let bygones be bygones, and were just kind of acting an ass. So that got canceled. So I guess for the time being, I have not explicitly like painted for a charity, but I totally would. Is NOCF, is that Nova or I don't know what NOCF is. Yeah, like if you want to send me an email, like and tell me about it, that's cool. Like the email that I use for my commission stuff in the channel is Jack of Clubs painting at Gmail. You put a period in between each word, so it's like jack dot of dot clubs dot painting at Gmail. You can send me an email there. Oh, they're affiliated. Yeah, I don't know. See, like I don't know. Like I haven't been like in like the public knowledge of like large tournament stuff and like the people that run that until like this year. Like I've been a 40K person since about 2002. But as far as like being part of like the painting scene and like the tournament scene, that's only been going on for like maybe the past couple of years. When I like really wanted to step up my game to being more professional. So like I'm just kind of going off of knowledge that was told to me, like because I until this year I hadn't even heard of Nova Open before, and then when I joined the community pro painter referral system, that had already started going, and I was like, is there anything I can do? And like I was gonna paint I don't know, like a squad of Death Guard or something, and then like it came down the pipe that it had gotten like negotiations had broken down, I guess, because they didn't want to like do that even after they said it was cool. I don't know, man. Like, not really privy to all the stuff that goes on behind closed doors. I was just kind of going off of what I was told. Okay, no open charitable foundation. Got it. I don't know, because I don't know who Eric Fontaine is. I've never heard that name. Yeah, Poffus, you might know. I don't know. Because it's like the information that I got was like, we're doing this. If you want to do a unit, like just put your name on the sheet and what unit you want to do, and then like they had like a deal with either it was either Secret Weapon Miniatures or Elric's was gonna supply the bases, some like cool Death Guard themed bases, and then like people had already like bought kits and like ordered bases and stuff like that, and then like one day it was just like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. There's just like too much bad blood going on, and they didn't want to cooperate. Was basically all that I heard. So like, luckily I hadn't purchased anything yet, so it didn't hit me very hard. But I know that a good handful of the other people in the community pro painter referral system had already like started work on stuff and had already purchased stuff. And so like a couple of some people were out like some good money, because like some people have been buying like Terminators and Rhinos and stuff, and I'm like, those kits aren't cheap. Ah, man, no skin off of my back, not at all. But yeah, man, like I said, if you want to send me an email, that's totally cool. Let's see. Man. Just kind of realizing the sculpt on this hand isn't very good. But I mean, it's just like a fist on his hip, so it's nothing special to begin with. Back, the sculpt of the actual like thumb over the top of the fist isn't all that great, but it's so small that it's not really such a big deal. Probably gonna have to do a little bit of freehand to get the depth of like the knuckles and stuff back, because it's like they were so shallow. I might have to do a little bit of freehand on the back here to really make this kind of like read as a fist with like a thumb. It's like the only thing about this model that it hasn't been very good. Okay. Alright. Now it's looking a little bit better. And we've got like, so like I said, we've got this little like rope here that comes around. And that's going to be yellow, the same yellow, base color yellow as this stuff. And then we've got like a button here and like a button thing right here where the rope attaches to the cape. And those two are going to be actual metallic gold, because those are metal. Those are like, it's like a metal button and some kind of like clasp or some such. Okay, but now we got that base coat on. Let's go ahead and start doing some work with our off-white. So I'm going to go back to our Celestial Gray, which is what we based it in, and just do a couple of little soft highlights with it, just so that when we go to the Ulthwan Gray, which is almost white, it won't be such a harsh transition. So I could have painted this like a comic book cell and just made the colors like ultra contrasty with pure black shadows and stuff, but I felt like it would be more fun to do everything a little bit more realistic, especially since the model is sculpted like the Alex Ross paintings. Kind of wanted to do that justice as if it was closer to that style, a little bit more realistic with actual like colored shadows and stuff. Just gonna start coming in. You know what? I'm gonna make this a lot easier on myself. Just gonna do the airbrush. Yeah, a lot of the fuck, what was it one? There was that one game, Hero Clicks, I think it was called. And those were all like factory painted, and it was just, you know, like flat colors and shit. Those didn't look very good. And then a lot of times you'll see like the collectible little like small scale figurine statues and some of the larger scale figurine statues that are all like factory painted over in China, and they don't have a whole lot of detail to them. I know there's like a whole market of like collectible figurines and stuff that are like really really well done and are super super pricey, but I know what you're talking about with those more like cheaper options that are all factory painted. Yeah, so I'm just gonna come in here with the airbrush and highlight all this stuff up to a nice white. I'm gonna get our masking tape though, just for some safety. Because I would rather this look really good and just take a little bit of extra time with some of this like masking tape stuff than mess it up by trying to like hand blend all of this cloth when hand blending cloth isn't necessarily one of my strong suits. And luckily, everything besides the red cloth has been just, you know, base coated. So if we get anything on that, we can just paint again. But I'll just have to be like extra careful around that little like bit of red. Exigent Midnight. Yeah, I do actually. Just not any of the ones that are coming out in the starter box, because I don't want either of those. What I want to see from Necromunda is the House Delac, or the Delac Gang, Clan Delac, whatever you want to call them. Delaque, Delac. As far as gangers, that's what I want. And the Adeptus Arbites is the other one that I want. Otherwise, I'm not really interested in any of the other gangs. I don't have any problem with the models. Like, the models are great looking. I'm always for new, beautiful, sculpted models. But as far as just like aesthetics and lore and all that kind of stuff, I have no interest in Clan Goliath and Clan Escher. Alright, start doing this. that should be good. Clean this out. Okay. TKO, what's up, man? Take a look here. We got like a couple of teeny tiny little places where we got some overspray, but that is much better and super easy to clean up with just a little bit of our darker red paint super thin down. Okay, looking good there. Super clean. Our cape is nice and highlighted. Might have to come in up here and just drop in a little bit of maybe like some soft body black wash just to kind of get those creases a little bit shadowed again. Oh, yeah, the donators from last night, I need to fix that. Thanks for pointing that out. A little bit of shadow back in there, nothing too crazy. fact, we can even come back with some of our Dragonhof Nightshade that we thinned down. Just kind of like make these less stark, softer. Just kind of come back with it into these little corners right here. Like, how that's looking. Is the music at? It's there. It's just really low. Because I didn't want it to drown out the voiceover. So if you're listening at like a super low setting, you may not be able to hear it. I can turn it up like a couple of notches. I just don't want it to be too crazy loud. Right. So now that we have our cape good to go, I think we can base in our trim. So let's get at our yellow ochre from last time. we got that. Let me fix our giveaway trigger real quick. There we go. Now everything is as it should be. So yeah, we're only 3 followers away from doing our 900 follower big giant follower giveaway raffle, and nobody has donated today, so the giveaway trigger is empty. Start blocking out our trim. Even though this yellow is going to paint over this really light gray much easier than we were painting it over the darker colors, still going to go super thin. Probably do a couple of passes on it just because I don't want to lose any detail, and I want our paint to be super smooth. Now I think the music stopped. I'll have to restart the playlist. I feel like that one was just playing. saying last time, man, like this yellow ochre is like the perfect color for his yellows. Just really nice base for that gold yellow. I've got it all. I'm just going to do a couple of passes. Some of these places where it looks a little too thin. Okay, cool. So we got that yellow on the cape there. I'm gonna try to be really careful and get these little bits of, I don't know what the word for this is, brocade, frogging, not sure. Then we'll get this little rope. There we go. Okay, I think that's all of our yellow blocked in. Let that set up. We'll paint in our little gold buttons real quick. Yeah, Pixel Hobo, I also find that a little bit funny. When you try to alter news reports so that it forges a narrative, I find that to be extremely unethical. I think somewhere down the line, people in journalism, not everybody mind you, but a lot of people in journalism, especially televised journalism, kind of forgot that they're not entertainment, that they are providers of information and nothing more. And that's probably the main problem, is all the news outlets are so reliant on ad revenue from their 24-hour televised news cycle that they forgot they're not entertainment. And so all of the news is warped and skewed to fit some kind of forged narrative rather than just giving the facts. Yeah, I guess you could see that too. I don't always see it like that. I just kind of see it as more like an event happens, and to take that event and stretch it so that it's reportable across a 24-hour news cycle, that's kind of the main problem. Because it used to be where there was no like 24-hour news cycle. It used to be like there was like the evening news, and then there was like the national news. Like you'd have like the national syndicate news, and it was just like either like once a night or maybe a couple of nights a week. Sometimes only one night a week, and like you would have all these big events, and you would talk about them, and then like you would move into the next week. And like if it was an ongoing thing, like sometimes it would be like, you know, a couple of nights across the weeks, you know. But when they started the 24-hour news cycle and they just had to keep stuff going so that people would want to buy ad time, that's when it all went downhill. Yeah, Apophis. I mean, I kind of believe this. Like, I was having a discussion with like some friends of mine. Like, I was gonna say, like, is it oppression of the First Amendment if you can be held accountable for, like altering the news, like being unethical in journalism. And I mean, like, it used to be like, you know, like 10 years ago, it used to be where like if a news station like said something like wrong or like put out a bad story or something, they like immediately put out retractions. Like the idea of putting out a news story where like your stuff wasn't fact checked and like was open for like libel or slander or stuff like that, like they immediately wrote a retraction. Like, and nowadays they just don't fucking care. They just put out whatever they want. And like even if people call them on it, they're like, well, that's just because you're like some other, you know, news site or news channel, or like you're only saying that because you don't have the same political views or whatever, which is like, it's complete horseshit. Yeah, Hammerhands, I think you have a point there. It's all like they all want to forge their own narrative so that it's more interesting. So people they want to be entertainment, and the news is not entertainment. News is, I don't know if people actually know this, but news is actually a made up word. It's an acronym, and it stands for new events, weather, and sports. That's what the news is supposed to be. It's new events, weather, and sports. And now they want the news to be like fucking Hollywood entertainment, where they just like forge all these narratives and like keep people wanting to come back for more. And it's just like it's all a bunch of horse crap. It's all stupid. So I like, if I'm gonna watch the news, I either like read a fucking newspaper for my local news, or I watch like the local news. I don't watch like nationally syndicated news, because all that stuff is garbage. UK is finished. I don't know. I don't think the UK is finished. I think y'all will be just fine. Definitely right, Hammerhands. I guess like, so like if I can remember what we were talking about in when I said we were like, I was having a conversation with some friends. I think what I was trying to, I posed like a hypothetical, and I was just like, should it be against the law to knowingly alter the facts of a news story? Because at that point, you're basically just lying, right? So like, if A happened, then B happened, then C happened, and you reported it and changed the facts so that A happened, then C happened, and then B happened, should you be held accountable for that? Because at that point, it's not, you're not informing the public, you're trying to like alter the perception of events to fit a narrative, and that's not journalism. Like, unless you're writing like an opinion piece or something like that, like that's not journalism. Journalism is like finding the facts and getting it to the people, and there's supposed to be ethics there. And I think a lot of people getting into journalism these days like are getting like C's and D's in their ethics courses, and then going and getting jobs at these places where just like, whatever the fuck you want, as long as it suits our narrative, suits our stockholders' narratives. And that's not journalism anymore. And I mean, like, personally, I don't like, I'm all for the, your amendment rights and all that kind of stuff, but personally, I think there should be some kind of censure for like just basically lying to people, just like straight up just telling lies to suit a narrative, or for some kind of agenda. But that's not, unless it falls under libel or slander, like it's First Amendment rights. So people are gonna, if people want to abuse it, then that's up to them. Just like all that junk that was happening with the NFL, like, I will definitely support people's rights and the expression of the First Amendment, because I believe in it. It's why I joined the military in the first place. But I don't have to like it when it's in poor taste. But you can't tell somebody that they can't have that right. You can tell them they're an asshole if it's warranted, if it's in poor taste, but you can't tell them they can't have the right. I can say, as part of my First Amendment right, is if you take a knee during the national anthem, well, in my opinion, you're a piece of shit. Regardless of whatever you're protesting, it's not the time and the place to do it. But I will also say you're free to do so because that is your right. There we go. Got a wash on there. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna get into all that, Pixel Hobo, because that's just like a whole other den of what is it? A hive of scum and villainy. I'm not even gonna get into all that. Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on like how you express your your pushback to stuff like that, right? Because like a lot of the stuff that was coming, like a lot of the stuff that people were seeing in backlash for that was just kind of like do you? I don't think those people understood like exactly what the First Amendment like means, and then like that you're protected under that. Like there's like a time and a place for stuff, right? And even if you like choose to like go against that and be in poor taste, like that's still fine. Like you're still protected, but like a lot of the stuff that people were saying was just like way too much. And like for those guys, like you're getting paid, like that's your job, right? Like if you like worked at like I don't know, like a bank or something, right? And then you got to work and you were like going to express my First Amendment right to like laid out a protest in the middle of my workplace, in the middle of my job. I'm like, yeah, you could probably get fired for that because it's goes against like the code of conduct for your business or whatever. But with the NFL, it's just like it's too big to fail, I guess. So they just kind of let them do whatever they want, even though it's in poor taste. I think patriotism is weird. Yeah, I mean, like, it can be a little bit. All right, how much time we got left? About 30 minutes. Okay, I think we can work on our face a little bit with 30 minutes left. Let's work on that. Yeah, Hammerhands. I think that's also part of the problem with the thing where you don't have to write retractions or anything because they can just kind of make it go away with money if they wanted to. So we'll get our slightly brighter barbarian flesh here. We're going to start doing some layering on our face. because the videos you send are stupid, TKO. So, before I forget, I've got a little promo deal to talk to you guys about at the end of the stream. So make sure you stick around for that. Oh my god, Tico, don't you start with me? Sending me dumb Facebook videos, I don't want to see this shit. Nice layer there. Probably gonna need to do another like super thinned out layer of wash to kind of like bring it together a little bit, but I'm liking it where it is. flesh looking pretty okay. Like I said, we're probably gonna do like another little teensy bit of wash on there just to kind of like smooth it out. Oh yeah, man, I gotta make sure y'all stick around. Won't be too long. Just gonna like wait for this paint to set up nicely, then I'm gonna put our thin wash on there. That'll probably be about as much time as we have tonight. Girlfriend and I are painting some dark Eldarts, man. That's cool, Spec. Some of those details back a little bit. I'll have to go to a smaller brush and do a secondary highlight on that face just so the details are more crisp. So far, he's coming right along. I think we saved a whole lot of time just airbrushing the folds in the cape to that nice white. Just saved like a boatload of time than trying to do it manually, so that was good. I think we got a lot of work done. Covered a lot more ground today than I think we would have normally. So when we come back tomorrow, we'll have to just start highlighting up all of the yellows and finish highlighting up the face and the hair. I'm just gonna come in with like a super detail. I might do the face off screen so that I can just like really like hold it the way that I need to and like really focus on it. But when we come back next time, we'll focus on highlighting up all these yellows, and getting him to where we can get a base put together and painted for him and call him done. Because like right now, all the base colors are on there and only a little bit of stuff has been highlighted. So like the red is done. Might do a little bit of glazing on like the little fold lines in the cloth just to pop those out a little bit more. But otherwise, I like where this is at. So it's looking good. Oh, isn't that the worst, Pixel Hobo? Alright, cool. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna give y'all a cool little treat. Set him aside, and we'll bring back our other more recent stream project that we did on here, which is our true scale Belial figure that we painted. A little bit of conversion with our banner and the sword bolter. We painted this guy on stream. Came out really cool. He's going to be the leader of my Deathwing Knights and my Deathwing Terminators. And y'all expressed a lot of interest in this model and where it came from. And I did some searching and some more searching and some even more searching. And I finally found the person who made this. And they have a shop. And I talked to him. And we're setting up a little promotional deal so that you guys can go over to his site and look at his products. And if you like stuff, then I've got a sweet discount code for you guys. 15% off of anything that you get, which is like super cool considering that there's an exchange rate of dollars to pounds. So the model comes just with the model, does not have a base. I'll pull out the other one that I have that is the bare resin, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So yep, just comes kind of like this. You can see that he's got like his little like ready rack and bare resin, lots of super awesome detail. Here's like his shield arm. You know, shield goes on like that, and then he's got this arm with a thunder hammer, like super awesome sculpted thunder hammer with like a purity seal wrapped around the handle, and some of those cool Indian feathers that the Deathwing have. So kind of like that. And it turns out this guy also has some other stuff, some other characters. He's got a couple of Ultramarine guys, got a couple of Black Templar guys, got a couple of Crimson Fists or Imperial Fists, however you want to paint them. He's also got some like super baller ass Space Wolves. So I know there's probably some of you guys that like Space Wolves out there. So he's got the Dark Angels and the Black Templars and the Ultramarines and the Crimson Fists, Imperial Fists, and some super awesome Space Wolves. So I'm gonna give you guys the link. And you guys get to be the very first because I haven't posted this on the Jack Club's Facebook yet. So I'm gonna give you guys a hyperlink in just a second. Go. So there is the link. Okay, and then here is the promo code. So if you go over to CaptainCalicoMiniatures.co.uk, you can find his web store there. And then if you enter Jack Club's no spaces, just like I typed it, just copy paste that, you get 15% off. And he's going to be running that promo until December 31st of this year. So you've got a good about a month and a half. Get your hands on some of those guys, get your purchases in before the holiday season and all that good stuff. And then after the stream, I'm going to be making a similar post on the Jack Club's Facebook page with the promo code and everything. So in case you don't want to do it right this minute, you can always go back to the Jack Club's Facebook and find the website and the promo code. And like I said, that's going to be running until December 31st of this year, where you can also get a super cool true scale Belial or another true scale Deathwing Terminator hero, or some super baller Space Wolves, or some awesome Ultramarines, Black Templar guys, whatever. Go over and check that dude out. Yeah. So Shazam is looking pretty good. Face needs a little bit of work, so I'm gonna work on that before next stream, just so I can get that finished and it'll look nice. because sometimes painting on stream is a little different than painting like than what I'm used to, just painting like normally, especially for like super teeny tiny details like on a face or something. So I think I'm just gonna knock that out between streams so that we don't have to like, so I don't mess it up, you know, like trying to hold it in frame and all that kind of good stuff. So when we come back, we'll be working on highlighting up all of our yellows, and we'll be working on his base, and hopefully we can get him finished tomorrow, because we're gonna have a full stream tomorrow, like a full 3 hours. So hopefully we can get him finished up tomorrow. All right, so that is it for today. Hope you guys having a good Saturday, having a nice Veterans Day for any vets out there. I am gonna go celebrate Veterans Day with my roommate this evening, so I'm gonna be getting off. But before we do, let's find somebody to host. See who's on. Let's see. Oh, here's somebody I haven't ever hosted before. Let's go check them out. Okay, cool. All right, so like I said, we'll be back tomorrow at a normal time, normal stream. Working on Shazam, trying to get him finished up. Gonna throw a host over to somebody called Vanilla Paints. Haven't seen them before, haven't hosted them before, so maybe they're new. I'm sure they'll appreciate a nice raid. So like normal, wait for the host to go through, then jump over to their channel, spam with those Jack Clubs emotes, and I will see you guys tomorrow.